Hey, good morning, Ted here. Hey, I wasn't planning on making another video this quick, but I started digging through the wood again, and I had another project going as well after that 18-inch maple burl. Got a lot of compliments and some more subscribers. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think it's like the 8th of November, coming up on Veterans Day. My family has a tradition. All my brothers, 2 of my brother-in-laws, aunts, uncles, 2 of my children, some of my grandchildren, a couple of great-grandchildren actually. So let's do that. But anyway, I was digging through the wood. I'm going to show you some things here that I have really quick on choices I'm going to make. So I'm going to kind of set the camera up a little bit different, and then we'll get to it. I'm really
okay. So in the
had to make a decision on what I want to turn next.
Is another piece of the Arizona desert. Actually, that's mulberry. I'm sorry, from Iowa. This is another piece of the desert mesquite. But this thing got my attention, and it's another piece of the mesquite as well, and it is really gnarly looking. I'll kind of come around here and kind of show you. This is a Phil Anderson special, I would think. It is hurting my fingers. I spent 2 hours last night removing the bark off of it because it is loose. But what would this look like when it's finished? So I would like very much to show you exactly what it's going to look like, because I had another piece that I decided I would like to do, and it's this piece right here. This piece is intact. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can kind of see the wood. I decided to make it into a lamp. It's just gnarly. It's so ugly. It's pretty, I think. But I'm going to make another video just for shopsmith owners to kind of show them how that was done. Because I think the shopsmith made some cuts and some drilling and some work that very few drill presses or other tools can do. So I will make another video. Anyway, I got the lamp off of Amazon, or the lamp shade, and the wiring and the sockets and stuff. You can't reach in there to turn on the switch, so I had to put a cord on it with a switch on the cord. So anyway, that'll be another video. And then I think I'm going to make a video of this gnarly beast right here, because it's going to be one of those that as you turn it, you get to decide what you're going to do. So that will be this video. Actually, this is what is so hard. I had to drill the holes out 1/8 of an inch to get these McFeely screws in. I'm using the 3-inch record power faceplate. The screws are only going in like 1 inch, but I gotta tell you, that doesn't really matter. Okay, for whatever reason I wasn't recording. I've got the 3-inch faceplate record power on this thing. Got the screws in it. They go about 1 inch. This wood is so hard, I had to use a 1/8 inch bit to put the screws in, and they tighten up really, really tight. So let's see how much RPM we can get out of this thing. About 500, so that's not bad for a start. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock it and take a wire brush to it and clean all this off I can. It still has like dirt in it. There may be some really small pieces of bark in it. There's my arm in the way again. I'll try not to do that. Oh gosh, you can teach old dogs new tricks, but sometimes you got to teach them every day. So anyway, good morning.
Get back to this after a
46
while.
degrees out here. Got the garage door open to cool down the garage for the day. Haven't used the air conditioner. So I'm going to. I spent hours getting all the bark out of this thing. Had a couple areas. This thing was like growing. I cut it off. I cut another piece off. I'm going to take the 80 grit Sandiflex to it now and see what I can knock down some more. Got a whole lot of bark off of it. So, face and masculine. Okay, these are tolerable now. So, got a doctor's appointment this morning, so I've got to shut her down for a while. I'm going to try and flatten out the bottom is all, and then make decisions on just what I really want to do. Really don't want to take any of this away. Cutting this off made it look a lot better. That was really looking good. It had a rock in it. So, this looks like a river like the lamp did. That's part of this right here. That's going to get cut off probably to about here, I would assume, leaving me with maybe a 4-inch deep. See what I can do with this thing. Like I said, it's really, really hard. But let's get the protection on and give it a twirl here. I'll see if I'm getting in the way. If I am, I'll probably just keep working this till I get to the bottom where I can get some kind of a thought of just how much I want to get off of here. This really goes in a long way, so it looks like I got a lot to take off. Going through this thing here, it's going to be really pretty in here, depending on how far up I got to go. So we'll see. Having a real issue with my memory card. I don't know if I got anything left or not. I brought this down. It was out about here. Took a while. A couple gouges. Had to sharpen a couple times. A little rough right here. I'll have to clean that up. But I'm really concerned. Right here is the middle, and that only gives me about an inch here. But if I recess in, it'll go in a little bit further. Give me a little bit more meat in there for like a 3-inch recess. I just don't really want to go much deeper because I don't want to lose this edge right here, and especially this edge right here, I could lose maybe another 1/4 inch and not be, it wouldn't be that bad, I suppose. But then I get right up on this, and I don't really want to get into this too much either, because this actually has it bows out. It's got to come down a little bit anyway. It's about a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/16 inch convex, which will help a little bit. So I'm gonna have to give it some thought. Okay, I hope this is working. I had a lot of trouble with this card. Anyway, I came out this morning and I thought, oh, I'll just go ahead, and I went ahead and used the gouge and cleaned this up. It's pretty nice. It's going to take some sanding to get the toe marks out of it. And I decided I'm going to use the 2-inch or 53mm on this so I can have some, because I don't have a lot of room here undercut, but this wood is so hard. And I noticed it's vibrating, and this actually coming around and beating on this thing, and it actually loosened the screws on the faceplate. So I've retightened those, and I'm pretty sure it's running true now. Less vibration. It's tolerable vibration. So I'm going to use this carbide. I've been using the carbide to get into this. I don't want to go any bigger on it. I've already kind of gotten a little bit carried away. But it works pretty good. I'll just kind of show you here. It's a cutting tool, basically for metal. But this has kind of become as you can see, I kind of let it get out around a little bit, so I'm not worried about it. So that's true again, pretty much. Still looks a little bit wobbly, but again, I don't want to get too carried away on the side here. And I'll take down the middle. It's just it is so close. But when I clean it up with the next tool, it'll open it up. So I'm going to mess with this for a little bit. I'll put my mask on and try and get this taken out with the gouge, and then clean this up a little bit more. I don't want to go much bigger. If I have to go to the bigger chuck, I'm going to be out here, and I don't want to be out here. I want whatever I can keep here. It's really not important because it's got so much area. It's only missing about a little over an inch here. So I'm sure it'll hang on. But so let me put stuff back on, and then we'll see what we can do here. Okay, I've got the recess tool. This thing here, it should be able to go in, and all I want to do is just clean to the side. This thing really is, like this wood is so hard, it really doesn't like being messed with that much. You go straight in. And make the recess. And this I can smooth out. I'm deep enough in here that I'm pretty confident in its bottoming. Let's see how much of a gap I'm going to have. chuck. Maybe 1/8 of an inch at most. It's probably 3/16. But it's bottoming in like it's supposed to. And again, this wood is so hard that if I keep this tight, and I guarantee you I can't split it out. I'm sure it'll be okay. I've got just enough gap. I get my thumbnail in there and not touch the wood. But I'm going to clean this off just a little bit more. Clean it up. And that'll give me more space, so it's even a more secure area. So I'm happy. I'm happy. And I'm going to start by sanding some of this. Again, like I say, this wood is so hard. I've got maybe 3/16 of an inch in here that I'm biting into. Maybe just 1/8 of an inch. But again, I'm not concerned about it. If it comes off, it'll come off. We'll put it back on. It's going to hurt something else. It's not going to hurt itself. So do a little bit of clean up here, and then we'll get back. Okay, to start the sanding, I'm going to use this Ryobi. It's really nice. It works really well. I like my Ryobi tools. I've got a whole family of them. Got a little more to do. Okay, I'm kind of standing with a 2-inch going through the grits. Started out, I'll just show you a couple of them. This is how I'm going to do it, but it's pretty common. About 350 RPM. Okay, I've sanded it up to 400. It's really smooth. I'm going to kind of work on the inside of this by folding some over and cleaning it up, because that's going to be there forever. That'll never get changed. And then I'll come back, I'm going to take the Sandiflex with a 180 or 120 grit and just soften these up a little bit more, then blow it out, and then I'll be ready to put on some sanding. Okay, I've got this all sanded down to 400, and it is smooth. Boy, look at all the grain in it. I don't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, it's time for the Sandiflex. I've got the 120 grit on it. I'm not going to touch this, obviously, but I want to smooth this down a little bit more. Running at 95 RPM. run it in reverse. Now we'll quote some different. That smooths it down pretty nice. It leaves it figured, but it's not that bad. So now just blow it off and get ready to put some finish on it. Doing good without falling down. Some isopropyl alcohol to this, but it won't do much good to do it on this, I don't think. And I'll go ahead and put a little finish on it. Be back in a minute. A little denatured alcohol. Well, you can just see what this is going to look like. Oh my gosh. Of course, paper towels, they're really not designed for this, I guess. They just really kind of make a mess. I'll go over some of this that I can. Just kind of blot it off as much. I got some areas that are turned and some areas that are not really. So just get what I can and clean it up. Especially this beautiful green. You can't see it from that angle, but it's kind of like the lamp I did. I'll bring the camera in a different angle when I start putting on some Zinder seal coat. This is going to come alive. I mean, really, really pop. It's just going to be incredible. So let this dry for a while. And then quit doing this before this gets any worse than it is. I'll be back and put some seal coat on it.
I'm going to have me some Boston.
Okay, I've kind of effectively pinned myself in the corner here, so you can kind of see what this does. I'm going to start with the outside with a brush. I put it on pretty heavy because it will soak in. As hard as this is, it still has this lighter colored stuff. Is like any lighter colored on most woods. It's it really soaks up the finish a lot more than the darker grains typically. Got some bug holes here and there. Trying to get into them. Just kind of brush around and get this in. But I've made the rounds and I got enough to get this here. I'll brush it on to begin with. get down in the edge of it, because this is going to, I'm not going to do anything more to this once it's done. Once I'm done doing this, get in this hole here, as far in as I can get. Put the brush down. I don't have a lot left, but what I want to do is take what I have left in here in the cup and go over this to get the brush marks out. Just make it look kind of pretty. Wow. Wow. What else can I say but I'm doing nothing to this to make it look better or worse. Oh, I can't make it look much better. It's so pretty in the finish. Now the brush is kind of at a point now where I can just kind of go over this, and hopefully it's at a point where I'll put another coat on later. I let this set usually a day because it is a shellac base, but it's also, you know, denatured alcohol base. And the way you melt shellac is denatured alcohol. So when you put this on, you're actually going back in and waking up everything you already put on it. You know? So one more time, just going over this real quick, and then just leave it alone for several hours. So there it is. I kind of move the camera around a little bit more so you kind of see the side of it maybe. Maybe bring it just a little bit more. Yep, in fact that's what I do. So anyway, that's kind of it for today. Let this sit. I'm going to take a water break. And when I come back, I'll have to I'll kind of clean this off a little bit, soften it up. There's nothing I can do with this. I could hit it with the 180, but it would only touch parts of it. It wouldn't get into the all the areas, so that's a waste of time and a waste of sandpaper. But a second coat, and maybe a third coat. Now I could put shellac on it, but again, sanding sealer, ginger sanding sealer is shellac base. And once everything else goes away, the only thing left is the shellac. So why do that? See you later. So I've got the bowl mounted. I'm going to start using these Forstner bits and open it up. This one can't go deep enough to worry about. Got it about 575 RPM. Okay, you get the idea. I'll use several more bits to get it opened up as much as I can. Get about 2.5 inches, and that'll be about a 1/2 inch. That's as big as I'll go. Okay, that's it for this part. Now I'll get set up to start hollowing it out. Okay, it's been a couple days since I worked on the bowl. Had a project for a great grandson. He wanted a yo-yo, and I ended up having to make 8 of them. That's out of my 39 great grandchildren, I took care of 8 of them for now. They range from, I think, around 27 to 3 months. Wow, huh? Anyway, it's time to get back on this thing. Let's see what kind of a speed we can get out of it without it jumping off the table. Well, right at 600, it's going to vibrate a little, but let's put on a face shield and mask and see what we can do here. I just want to go ahead and get the face straightened up a little bit. Use 4 half-inch gouge. Okay, so I cleaned it up and it's concave, which is good. What a beautiful piece of wood. But it's just going to be such a... I got a really depression here too, so I may end up with some holes in there, so I don't think I can get away from it. I don't really like that idea. But right here, I can only come into about here. That only makes like a about a 3-inch opening. Over here, there's another area that'll probably make a hole. But if I would come out to maybe, if I want to come out to like 5 inches, it's going to be, it's going to take some wood out. So anyway, I'll get off camera. I'm going to play with it for a while. We'll come back and see what I made. Yeah, I started out this morning with the gouge. I've got this area here where I want it, and this surface where I want it. Got just a little bit of shape to it, but I didn't want to get any thinner here because it's really thin. This area right here, excuse me, that really shallow area, I got it so thin I can see light through it. So just a little pinhole. So I'm going to open that up a little bit, I guess. I didn't want to. This area right here, of course, is open. But I didn't want to take any more off of this because it's kind of like a bridge. It's attached here, so it's really kind of a unique feature to it. I'm going to use the hollowing tool to try and just work the bottom a little more. Trying to get in there as far as I possibly can without rubbing anything. And just kind of work it over and keep working it over and keep working it over. I'll do it a little bit on video, and then I'm going to go away from it. So face mask and shield on, and be ready for some noise and chatter. Got a long ways to go. That's what it's going to sound like and look like. Yeah, I thought I had the camera on, but I didn't. But I've got this, finally got the bottom where I want it. It's nice. Sanded it a little bit. Coming up around the edges now. No simple way to do this, unfortunately. What I typically do, I'll take a 3-inch and put it on a 2-inch with a little bit of play to it, and hopefully I can get away doing this with it, and then get it to go. But I got a couple holes in here that seem to want to grab everything, so I may end up having to do it by just using the sandpaper by hand. I'm going to keep going over this a little bit. I've got almost all the, didn't have very much to do. It really looked out pretty nice, but I see a couple really small areas where I can still see my tool marks. So I'm going to put on a little bit of mass, a little bit of suction, a little bit of power. I'm turning it around 300. And then see if I can figure out where I put my mask down. Okay, I think I'm going to get some, I made a tool some time ago and I'll show it in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and load it up with sandpaper and see how that works out for it. Kind of like a Stand-O-Flux but smaller. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This just barely, it's supposed to be a 1/2-inch chuck, but that's dialed a little bit too big, I guess. I'll turn it down the next time I get it. But anyway, this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to turn it slow, get down to about 167. Get my mask on because this is nasty dust. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for a while and then put that worked out pretty good, but it left a few areas. I'm going to use this system here, the 3-inch on a 2-inch. Okay, you get the idea. I'm going to go through the progression. Not much more boring than sanding. Yeah, I've got to sand it down to 400. And it is smooth. The hole got a little bit bigger, but boy is it smooth. So, get me some denatured alcohol. Blow it out one more time. And I'll turn it off for a second and get my denatured alcohol ready. And we'll see what this looks like. I already know what it looks like, but let's take a look anyway. Okay, let's take a look, see what it looks like. Oh my, oh my. Oh my. This stuff is so pretty, my goodness. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I've earned it. And then we'll put the first coat of sanding sealer on it. Make it really pop. I hope seeing outside isn't kind of fooling the exposure on this thing. Okay, well this won't take long. It's around 70 degrees here. Had rain last night, 16th of November, 2023. Okay, let's see what happens if we put on some Zinsser seal coat. I didn't show doing this, but I did put use the Sandaflex around the edges, especially right here where it's kind of sharp. Soften them up a bit. They come out really nice. So this is the first coat. It's going to take at least 2. Looking for lint. Not even close to Easter. Okay, so that's it for now. I won't touch this again for 24 hours. You really got to remember this is a shellac base, but it's 1/3. That's a great deal of it's basically the alcohol, denatured alcohol. So when you go to touch it again really quick, all you're doing is kind of reactivating the alcohol that's already, the shellac that's already in there, and you kind of lose whatever you thought you had. So that's it for now.
Hey, good morning, Ted here. It's 19th of November.
For 24 hours, then,
how about that? I mixed up some fresh shellac and put fresh shellac inside and on the bottom. I'm not going to worry about the sides of it, but let's take a look at it. I'm really happy with it.
Arizona desert mesquite. We'll zoom in a little bit. We'll take a look inside here in a second. Kind of get over the top of it as much as I can. Reposition this humble thing. And we'll look right down inside of it. I'm really happy with it. A lot of work, but well worth it. I think it's just a beautiful piece of wood. Excuse me. There's got so much dust around here, and I'm not talking about in the shop, it's even dustier outside. Got 3 little holes in it. This area right here, I got it so thin it went through. I didn't want it to do that, but it did. It's not going to hurt anything, it's just a part of the aesthetics. I think the bottom looks good. I've got my signed it, and I'm happy with it. So the pig nose, I love. I really do. I love that feature. So again, kind of a good look from the side, close up and personal. Shaky operator here. Like I said, I'm really, really happy with it. So that ends this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really did have some fun making this. It was I have a little challenge getting inside of this hardwood. I find the square carbide cutters really do a good job. Then hollowing out the little 9mm excuse me again, bit really does a nice job of cleaning it up, and just a little bit of sanding. I think I started out with an 80 and just went through it. 3 coats of sanding sealer and a coat of shellac. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Please leave comments, and if you care to, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. It kind of makes me feel good. I hope you guys have a nice day, and hey, Thanksgiving's just 4 days off. Enjoy the holiday. Be thankful. Thanks again. Bye. An afterthought was, what are the dimensions? That's usually pretty important. So it's a little over 9.5 going across here. It's almost 8 inches going across in this direction. It's 4 inches deep. The inside of the depth of this bowl is 3 inches. It's a little over 4 inches, 4.5 inches in diameter and the inside. And of course I've got a 1/4 inch going in here, so I got about a 1/4 inch on the bottom of the bowl, which turned out fine. So I thought maybe you'd be interested in that. Like I said, it's 4 inches tall, a little over by 9 by 8. And like I said, I'm really happy with it. So anyway, I should have done that before I said bye, but anyway, bye. And after